I have the pleasure of introducing the author to this incredible book, Magical Forces Within, Extraordinary Discoveries in an Ordinary Life. And this is Rhonda Grant. And I got to tell you, what a fabulous book. Thank you so much for sending it. Allowed me to peek into chapter 27, which is The Veil. Ooh, that sounds good. And of course, I loved, because don't we all love synchronicity? Chapter 10, synchronicity. Don't we all love that when that happens? We question it. And anyways, very interesting, because Rhonda Grant, just let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a co-founder of 2 companies. We have a seasoned entrepreneur. And when you meet Rhonda, you know that there's just something deeper. She's precise, she's claimed, she knows herself, she's articulate, she's on top of things. Not only an international best-selling author, but the podcast host of the Rhonda Grant Show. And I highly recommend you go and watch her show. I'm so happy she's here today. She is going to be talking about courting your soul. Courting your soul. Something that you may not know. And we got a house full of singers today. I don't know, Kathy. Kathy is our celebrity speaker for next month, and she was one of the first duos. She was the first rock and roll duo to hit the scene in the UK. And so we'll be talking about music next month, but we've got Rhonda in the house. We've got Jessica, who's maybe an official bathroom singer like me, but Rhonda is a songwriter and a singer and made a CD, and she was in an all-girls band. So Rhonda, you and Kathy, I'm sure, have some incredible stories. Super hard for people that love music to pick one of their favorite artist is Elvis Presley. Oh my gosh, I've got a 45 of Elvis. Love Me Tender is one of her favorite songs. And she has some incredible gifts. Now, you know how this party works. You're going to have to listen to what this woman has to say, because you too can be the winner of an incredible gift. And thank you so much, Rhonda. The stage is yours, my friend.
Thank you. I honor you for being here right now in this space that we are sharing in this moment. I invite you to breathe softly as you become present and feel your body. Feel your feet on the floor, wiggle your toes. Are you listening? Are you deeply listening? When you truly listen, what do you hear? I'd like to take you on a little journey with me. Please close your eyes. Breathe gently now as you become intimate with your heart. Feel your breath, your heartbeat. Breathe. What is breathing you? Is it your higher self that you're in touch with? Whispering to you in your stillness? Calling you to your soul's mission? Beckoning you to a life you've yet to create? Breathe into your abdomen and let that breath go wherever you want it to go. Feel your feet on the floor. Drop your shoulders a little as you exhale. And please open your eyes and come back. Being T-boned at 90 kilometers an hour is a sickening thud. It's nothing like I've ever felt before. And for several seconds, I did not exist. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't feel anything. I had a thought, am I dead? All of a sudden, I'm back in the vehicle and I'm being thrown all over the place. And I heard a horn blaring in the distance and the OnStar in my car saying, "You've been in an accident. Do you want me to call 911? I was there, but I wasn't there. I felt my soul hanging around somewhere, wondering, do I come back or don't I? Finally, my OnStar said, "You've been in an accident, calling 911. I could hear, but I couldn't speak. As I grew more conscious, I could see the fire trucks leaving the station from where I sat, and I could hear the ambulance approaching. All of a sudden, 2 firefighters were in my vehicle, and one threw a fire retardant blanket over top of me that covered me completely. And I could smell the smoky residue of the fabric. And I thought, I forgot to get this dry cleaned. Ironically, I felt calm and surrendered to the moment when the firefighter was holding my neck, not knowing if it was broken or not. And I could feel his hands shaking. It was a defining moment. I was back. This accident took me from the physical world. I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, I couldn't feel. All my senses were diminished as my current reality disappeared. I became acquainted with that space outside common reality, and it felt elusive. It is in this reality where you may have perfect communion with your soul, and you may have a knowingness of what your soul has in mind for you. And it may be very different than what you have in mind for you. Using the jaws of life, they disabled that horn and they began cutting the door and the hood off my vehicle. All of a sudden, the hands of the paramedics were all around me. They put my back and neck in a brace and began the slow process of removing me from the vehicle. There was people there and they wanted to know if I was okay, and I wasn't sure. The first responders couldn't believe I was alive. More importantly, I didn't have a scratch on me. On the ride to the hospital, it was a paramedic's job to keep me awake, check my vitals, and let the hospital know of my arrival. Once at the hospital, they x-rayed me for several hours before they drugged me and sent me home. For 2 weeks, I was in recovery, and each day my body revealed new and interesting bruises from the seatbelt trauma of the accident. I had survived the accident, but I had changed. Something was different. I felt calmer, yet my sense of being was somehow heightened. And as I began to recover, I'd wake up at 4 in the morning and go to my computer and write. I'd never written anything in my life, but it was so powerful, I couldn't ignore it. Day after day this happened, and day after day I listened and wrote. The beginning, I was writing about my past and how I was able to connect synchronicities that I hadn't previously recognized. And as my writing progressed, I seemed to write from a space that was open to me. At the time, I was just typing as fast as I could to record the information. And then one morning it occurred to me, I was writing a book. I cried, what is going on? I was courting that space outside common reality as I simply followed my soul's direction. Although I didn't know it at the time, this was the introduction to my soul's journey. I felt directed, almost as if I became the witness of myself and the changes that I was experiencing. I was curious. I didn't know where my journey was leading, yet I surrendered to this new behavior because I felt guided by a force that was bigger than me. And when I talk about surrender, I don't mean giving up or giving in. It's kind of like Oprah's story when she tried out for the color purple. She hadn't heard from the casting director in weeks. And thinking she didn't get the part because of her weight, she checked into a retreat. And after a couple of nights, she was overwhelmed and desperate for the part in the color purple. So she went out walking. And as she walked, she cried and she cried and she walked and she pleaded to God, just please give me that part. And in her anguish, she started to remember a song from her childhood, I surrender. I surrender all to thee, dear Jesus. I surrender all. All of a sudden, she heard her name. Oprah, Oprah, you're wanted on the phone. It's Quincy Jones. And she ran over to the complex and she took the phone and he said, Oprah, you've got the part. You need to come back and start preparing, and you're not to lose another pound. You know, one of the things that I learned how to do very well was when I was in recovery is listen to the whispers. And I'd always had intuition in my life. And lots of times those fleeting thoughts would come and go and I'd miss them, miss the opportunity to write them down, take action. And after my accident, I started being my own student and I started writing down and remembering, even if I had to, I know this isn't a good idea, but pull over to the side of the road and record that information because it really assisted me with my life. Synchronicities is being in the right place at the right time. And it's being able to recognize that you're in the right place at the right time. It's also to recognize opportunities that stand out for you. And we all know there's so many opportunities for us these days. But it's what is that opportunity for you? And if you can connect the intuition, synchronicities, and opportunities together, you're really going to be able to find the true essence of who you are and step into it. Please listen closely to people who recognize qualities about you, and you hear it 2 or 3 times from more than 2 or 3 people, because they could be your present day messengers. One of the things that I learned to do is how to obey my gifts. The most valuable gift that I experienced was recognizing that I was a conduit of being. Some people call that channeling. Some people have other spirit that they would call it. And as I opened up and surrendered, magical things happened in my life. Mostly courting my soul. When I think of courting, I think of love. And when you court your soul, you become intimate with your journey. Your magic lies outside common reality. Being a conduit of being is listening to you, listening to your inner voices, the intuitions, and all those messages that come to you that are for you. Be you. Don't try and be somebody else. Just be you and see you for your gifts and who you are and the value that you are. Be your own gauge. Take the time as you uncover your true essence. It takes years to come home to your soul's mission. And some people do it in leaps and bounds, and others take small steps. Just love your journey. We're all initiates here, initiating others to step into their true essence, to discover their self, their trueness, and their gifts. Just like we find ours, we now become the messenger. I invite you to court your soul and to let your magical forces within be your guide.
Wow. Thank you so kindly. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like I just completely received. I mean, between Jessica and Rhonda, it's like we have started off to a very internal healing the soul start to our incredible September summit. Rhonda, thank you so much. That was, I feel like we've started the day with a blessing. I feel like we're all, yeah, Sonia, you got it. Okay, so let's share some Zoom across the world love to Rhonda. Thank you so much. And I just want to show you again, this is, I mean, I'm assuming that this is what came from you, the magical forces within. It's now you know what is the brainchild to that. Thank you so much.